Have you ever found yourself standing at the precipice of your later years, gazing into a future that feels both full of promise and fraught with a quiet, persistent anxiety? Have you ever wondered why some people seem to glide through their golden years with an unshakable sense of balance, their movements fluid and confident, while others live in constant creeping fear of a single misstep, a devastating fall that could irrevocably alter the course of their lives? What if I told you that the difference between these two realities is not a matter of luck, genetics, or sheer physical strength, but rather the mastery of a hidden language of movement, a specific and learnable way of walking that has been perfected by a small, fortunate group of seniors? This is a technique so profoundly effective, so deeply ingrained in their biomechanics, that an astonishing 95% of them will never experience the kind of serious tumble that shatters both bones and confidence. While national statistics grimly report that 1 in 4 older adults will fall this year, a statistic that translates into millions of emergency room visits, life-altering injuries, and a tragic loss of independence, this elite group seems to have cracked a fundamental code to defy gravity itself. They are not superhuman, they are not gifted with extraordinary abilities. They have simply been initiated into a secret understanding of how the human body is designed to move safely and powerfully as it ages. Today, that secret, once the exclusive knowledge of a select few, is yours for the taking. This journey we are about to embark on is not just about avoiding an injury. It is about something far more profound. It is about reclaiming your freedom, rebuilding your confidence from the ground up, and reigniting the vibrant, active, and joy-filled life that you so richly deserve. It is time to forget everything you think you know about the simple act of walking, because you are about to be handed the very blueprint that could, without exaggeration, quite literally save your life and restore your world. It is now time to begin a process of conscious unlearning, a deliberate dismantling of a lifetime of ingrained walking habits that, while once serving you well, may now be silently working against you. Consider the long, confident strides that likely characterized your movement through youth and middle age. They were a symbol of purpose, of energy, of getting where you needed to go with efficiency and vigor. However, as our bodies undergo the natural and inevitable transformations of aging, from shifts in muscle mass and bone density to subtle changes in our sensory feedback systems, these very same movements can become a significant liability. The long stride, by its very nature, pushes your center of gravity too far forward with each step, creating a precarious, fleeting moment of instability. In this brief window of imbalance, your body is essentially in a controlled fall, and a simple misstep, an uneven patch of pavement, or a moment of inattention can cascade into a full-blown, dangerous tumble. The seniors who walk with an almost supernatural, unwavering stability have long ago abandoned this high-risk approach for something far more effective, a method we call the power step. This method is a paradigm shift in locomotion, involving the adoption of shorter, more deliberate, and exquisitely controlled steps. The mental reframing is crucial. Think of yourself not as someone rushing from point A to point B, but as a predator stalking its prey, or a seasoned mountaineer navigating a treacherous ridge. Each movement is intentional, balanced, and imbued with a quiet power. By consciously keeping your feet closer to your body's midline, you ensure that your center of gravity remains securely positioned over your base of support. This creates a solid, unshakable foundation with every single step you take, transforming the ground beneath you from a potential minefield into a source of strength. At first, this new way of walking will undoubtedly feel different, perhaps even slow or unnatural. But with a small amount of practice, this initial awkwardness will give way to a profound sense of groundedness. This fundamental shift transforms the act of walking from a risky gamble into a powerful display of unstoppable, grounded confidence, allowing you to navigate the world not with fear, but with a newfound and deeply reassuring sense of control. One of the most common, most instinctual, and yet most dangerous mistakes that people of all ages make is the habit of looking down at their feet while they walk. It seems logical, a primal instinct driven by a desire to scan the immediate ground for potential hazards like cracks, curbs, or unforeseen obstacles. However, this instinct, born of a well-intentioned desire for safety, is fundamentally flawed and actively works against your body's sophisticated natural mechanics of balance. When you drop your head to look at the ground, you are not just moving your eyes, you are initiating a chain reaction of destabilization throughout your entire musculoskeletal system. The human head is remarkably heavy, weighing on average between 10 and 12 pounds. By tilting it forward and down, you are essentially shifting the weight of a bowling ball off your central axis, which in turn pulls your delicate cervical spine and your entire torso out of its natural upright alignment. This single act throws your whole body off balance, forcing your muscles to work overtime just to keep you from pitching forward and making you far more susceptible to a fall. The fall-proof walkers, those masters of stable movement, have meticulously trained themselves to resist this powerful urge. They practice what we call the horizon gaze. This technique is as simple as it is transformative. They consciously keep their chin up, parallel to the ground, and fix their eyes on the horizon or a point far down the path ahead. This simple postural adjustment has a profound effect, keeping the head, neck, and spine in perfect synergistic alignment, creating an incredibly stable and efficient posture for movement. But the inevitable question arises: how then do they see the obstacles directly in their path? The answer lies in trusting a remarkable built-in system that most of us neglect: our peripheral vision. Your peripheral vision is like an amazing wide-angle radar, constantly scanning the environment to your sides and below, exquisitely sensitive to detecting changes in terrain, subtle shifts in shadow that indicate a crack in the sidewalk, and objects encroaching on your path, all without the need to stare directly at them. Learning to walk with your head held high is not merely an outward sign of confidence. It is a core, non-negotiable component of physically maintaining it, ensuring your body moves as the stable, integrated system it was designed to be. If you were to close your eyes and simply listen to the sound of people walking by, you could often diagnose their relative risk of falling with surprising accuracy. In a typical urban soundscape, you will hear two common and telling patterns: the shuffle and the stomp. Shufflers, often moving with an abundance of caution, barely lift their feet from the ground. This creates a constant, low-grade friction and, more dangerously, makes the front of their shoe a persistent trip hazard, capable of catching on the slightest lip of a rug or irregularity in the pavement. On the other end of the spectrum are the stompers. They may lift their feet, but they land flat-footed or on their heels with a heavy, jarring impact. This sends a damaging shockwave up their legs, through their knees and hips, and into their spine with each step, offering no grace, no shock absorption, and a surprisingly unstable base of support. The true secret to a genuinely stable, powerful, and injury-proof gait lies in a third, more refined technique, a method known as the rolling thunder walk. This is not about being loud. In fact, it is often much quieter than stomping. It is a fluid, graceful, and biomechanically brilliant motion that turns the complex structure of your foot into a natural, spring-loaded, shock-absorbing system. The movement is a continuous, wave-like action. It begins as your heel makes gentle, controlled contact with the ground first. Then, in a smooth and deliberate motion, you roll your weight forward along the outside edge of your foot. As your momentum carries you forward, the weight transfers across the ball of your foot. And finally, you complete the step by pushing off firmly and purposefully with your toes. This complete heel-to-toe roll creates a seamless wave of motion that not only absorbs the impact of each step, protecting your joints from repetitive stress, but also keeps your spine and center of gravity perfectly centered and stable. Furthermore, it propels you forward with an energy that is both powerful and controlled, efficient, and safe. It is not a loud, aggressive stomp, but a quiet, rolling transfer of energy, a thunder that resonates from the ground up through a stable frame. This technique connects you intimately to the ground beneath you, providing a constant stream of sensory feedback and keeping you perfectly, beautifully, and powerfully balanced. Take a moment to observe how you use your arms when you walk. For many people, these crucial appendages are treated as little more than passengers along for the ride, their incredible potential for maintaining balance completely neutralized. They are often stuffed into pockets out of habit, held rigidly and unnaturally at the sides, or occupied with clutching a purse, a phone, or a bag. These seemingly innocuous habits have a significant and detrimental effect on your stability. Locking up your arms in any of these ways also locks up your torso, preventing your body from making the thousands of tiny instantaneous micro-adjustments that are essential for staying upright, especially when navigating uneven surfaces or recovering from a slight stumble. Seniors who seem to never fall, who move with a placid and rhythmic grace, have instinctively or consciously mastered the art of what we call the natural pendulum method. They understand that their arms are not just for carrying or gesturing. They are essential tools for balance, serving as the body's built-in, perfectly calibrated counterweights. They allow their arms to swing freely, gently, and rhythmically from the shoulder, moving in natural opposition to their legs. As the right leg steps forward, the left arm swings forward in a corresponding motion, and vice versa. This is not a forced, exaggerated, or militaristic swing. It is a gentle, effortless, pendulum-like motion that should feel almost unconscious once you stop resisting it. This natural rhythm does far more than just look graceful and relaxed. It serves a vital biomechanical purpose. It actively counterbalances the rotational motion of your lower body, canceling out destabilizing forces and keeping you perfectly centered and stable with every single step. By freeing your hands, consciously relaxing your shoulders away from your ears, and allowing your arms to become the steadying rhythmic pendulums they were designed to be, you are unlocking one of your body's most powerful and intuitive systems for maintaining effortless, continuous balance. For the growing number of individuals who use a cane or a walker to enhance their mobility, these devices can be a source of profound, life-changing stability or, paradoxically, a contributor to a fall. The outcome depends entirely on understanding their function and using them correctly. Viewing a mobility aid as a sign of dependence or weakness is a critical and common mistake. It is far more accurate and empowering to think of these devices as intelligent, specialized tools for a smarter, safer, and more confident way of moving through the world. They are not a crutch in the pejorative sense, but rather a strategic extension of your body's support system. Fall-proof cane users, for instance, know and religiously adhere to the single most important rule of cane use. Always hold the cane in the hand that is opposite your weaker, painful, or injured leg. This might seem counterintuitive to some who feel they should support the weak side directly. However, holding it on the opposite side creates a wide and incredibly stable tripod of support between the cane tip and your 2 feet. This configuration allows you to distribute your weight far more evenly and provides the maximum possible stability as you shift your weight from one leg to the other. For walker users, the absolute key to safety is to keep the walker close, treating it as an extension of your own personal space. A frequent and dangerous error is to push the walker too far out in front of the body. This action forces the user to lean forward and essentially chase after it, a posture that pulls their center of gravity dangerously forward and out of their base of support, making a forward fall almost inevitable. The correct method is to move the walker a short distance, then step into it, keeping your feet within the frame. The walker should move with you, always there to support your weight directly underneath you, not leading you into a precarious off-balance position. By mastering these smart support strategies, you transform these aids from passive objects into active partners in your quest for unshakable stability. Here, at last, is the true secret, the foundational element that elevates all the other techniques from a set of instructions into a deeply ingrained reflexive skill. The extraordinary, seemingly effortless balance exhibited by fall-proof seniors is not something they only practice when they go for a dedicated walk around the block or in the park. Their superior stability is forged in the small, quiet moments of their day, integrated into the very fabric of their daily lives. They are constantly, and often subconsciously, engaged in what can be called the invisible training method, strengthening their balance, proprioception, and stabilizing muscles when no one is watching. This is the ultimate difference maker. While one person might see brushing their teeth as a mundane chore, the fall-proof senior sees it as an opportunity. They might practice standing on one foot for 30 seconds, feeling the tiny adjustments their ankle and core must make, and then switch to the other foot for the next 30 seconds. While waiting for the kettle to boil or for their toast to be ready, they might practice walking heel to toe along the line of the kitchen tiles, as if they were on a tightrope, challenging their coordination and focus. When getting up from a favorite armchair, instead of pushing off with their hands, they make a conscious effort to do so using only the power of their legs and core, performing a perfect controlled squat in reverse. These small, consistent, and seemingly insignificant moments are anything but. They compound over time, building what can only be described as fall-proof muscle memory. Through this constant low-level practice, they are conditioning not just their muscles, but their entire neuromuscular system, their body and their brain, to react instinctively to a stumble. They are training their reflexes to correct their balance automatically in a fraction of a second, without a moment of conscious thought or panic. It is this hidden daily practice that builds a deep, unshakable, and profoundly resilient foundation of confidence, turning the simple act of walking from a source of anxiety into a genuine source of strength, freedom, and joy.